Welcome, welcome to the all-new Magical Mothering Workshop, 3 common trends that destroy inspiration, keep us stuck in overwhelm, and of course the secret, the big secret, to avoid these trends once and for all. Okay? Yay! All right, so I am going to share my screen with you all. Yay, I can see faces. I love seeing faces. That's so fun. Okay, so here we go. Let me see. I am going to play this. I can't see the chat when I'm sharing my screen, so I will kind of just make sure to check back in while I'm doing this. And here we go. The 3 common trends. Oh, hi, Amanda. Thanks for joining in. So I appreciate you guys being here live with me during this workshop. It makes it so much more fun to have somebody that I'm talking to. Hey, Laura. So I know that a lot of times when I'm in Zoom, people can't access it because they can't download the app or they don't have room. So thanks for joining me wherever you're joining me from. And let's get to it. So what is our first common trend? I am going to dive right in and we are going to get through a lot of amazing information. And then at the end of this, if you have any questions or any specifics that you want me to go through, or if you have something you want to work through, please stay on after the workshop and we will actually go through any of your questions, okay? And I'll be doing some interaction kind of stuff. Okay, so stay on until the very end, and that way you can get some really juicy personal ways of implementing this if that is something that you're looking for. So, common trend number one, the most common trend in mothering is to be too busy, is to just create amazing busyness in our lives, right? How many either put in the chat yes or put a thumbs up if you just are just too busy? Do you feel like life is just too busy? Do you always have something to go to and something to rush towards? I know this is something that when I first became a mom, I was going to library dates and play dates and this date and that date and trying to do so much and literally causing chaos in my own life by wanting to stay too busy because it was like, what do I do with kids? And now, that's not the case. I know some of you are really good at not creating a lot of busyness in your life. My life is full, not busy. That's a great way to look at it. But I know sometimes even when we're feeling like we have to run out of the house every morning, that can be really busy, right? So I think I can get to the chat from here. Oh, awesome. Okay. Perfect. Let me see if I can move this chat or not. It's okay. So too busy is a common one. So busyness can be activities. And I know a lot of moms really love to do activities. And I know a lot of homeschooling moms that do a lot of activities. When we're doing our monthly rhythm, like through our observation time that we had the past 30 days of discovering our rhythm, which is, this workshop is really a culmination of all of this discovery, right? And for the past 30 days, we've been able to see how busy we actually make ourselves with, our daily rhythm. How many activities are we putting in there? If you're homeschooling, this is such an easy one to create so many activities in your homeschooling life that you're actually too busy to even be, right? You're like, I'm homeschooling, and yet I'm so busy just trying to keep up with all the things that I've created for us to do that I don't even have time to do them all. So, Lenny said, I've made myself too busy without ever leaving the house. Yes, absolutely. Where we've almost like created a schedule or a rhythm that's impossible to keep up with, right? We're going to go for a walk, and then we're going to do baking, and then we're going to do an activity, and then we're going to do a craft, and then we're going to do homeschooling time. And then, you know what I mean? It can just be so busy with the activities that we have lined up. And then the next big one in being too busy is our time management. So often we can have, literally we all have the same amount of time in the day. And when I would look at women who I thought could do it all, right? Time management was so much better. And a lot of these 3 common trends really kind of slither and slide into each other. They're so sneaky how they all intertwine, right? So time management. Are you waking up, and what are you doing when you first wake up? Are you waking up motivated and excited and ready for the day? Or are you waking up exhausted because you didn't manage your time well the night before, went to bed at 3 a.m, and then your kids woke up at 7 and now you're exhausted? And that all has to do with time management. And yet you sit there. Sometimes I've done this. I've been guilty of this too. I've really had to incorporate this into my rhythm of getting to bed by no later than 11, because I'm getting up I've now set my alarm for 4:44 so that I can wake up before my kids, and I'm not getting waken up by my kids going, 5 more minutes. You know what I mean? They're ready for the day. I want to be ready for the day when they're ready for the day, right? We want to be waking up inspired. And so we've really got to be mindful of our time management, which is another way that this 30-day rhythm has really allowed us. I put on here in the bottom of each square how many hours I slept each night, and was able to really see, oh, wow, when my energy was higher or lower, or when things were really good or not, things like that. So allowing ourselves to really see how we're managing our time. And then the next big one is over scheduling. So this can go along with activities, but a lot of times I see activities as things that we're doing in the house. Like we just create so many activities for us to do, even if we never leave the house. But over scheduling is such a common trend in mothering. It's a huge trend in elementary school kids and in high schoolers. Oh my gosh. So over scheduling. So if your kids have soccer one night of the week and then they have art class the next night, if you have something scheduled every night of the week and they are in school full time and they just never have any space to be, that is a lot, right? We overschedule ourselves all the time, going from work to classes, to schedules, we love to overschedule, and yet it leaves absolutely no time for inspiration. So while life might feel really full and really amazing, it can be really draining if we're overscheduling ourselves and creating just this busyness in our lives. So that is big common trend number 1. And I know I get a lot of people who are like, but I really like that my kids are in soccer and they're in ballet and they're in karate and they're in swim lessons and they go to school all day. And it's really not a way to create inspiration. It's not a way to create connection, right? So when we're creating this inspiration and this connection, we are almost destroying that before we even start by creating this over-scheduled, too busy life. So even while we're thinking about in the back of our minds, for those that are going to be doing the Discover Your Rhythm 3-month journey, really thinking about the amount of things that are being scheduled, the amount of activities that you're doing, really looking at what is it that's vital, right? And really, we're going to focus on those things and not creating a bunch of chaos in our lives. So the second most common trend that completely destroys our inspiration is making life too complex. I know it can seem really silly of how can we make life too complex, but we can. So how do we do this? If we're not too complex, we can make our meals way too complex. So I want to give you a story. How many of you have been in this situation where you find this brand new recipe, you're really excited about it, and you're like, yeah, I'm gonna do this new amazing recipe for dinner. You slave over dinner for an hour, maybe two. I know women who do this, who an hour, maybe two, preparing this beautiful, luxurious meal. Everybody is screaming and throwing tantrums and crying because they are so hungry while this meal is being prepared, but you don't want to give them food to ruin their appetite. So it's this whole thing. You give them like a snack, but they're still really hungry. And by the time you sit down at the table, everybody is beyond exhausted. Everybody is so cranky and tired and hungry, and yet nobody even eats your meal. I've done this. I used to do this before I had a weekly meal plan. I used to sit and scour Pinterest and all of these awesome meal plans and recipes and try out all these new things. And guess what? They never got eaten. Nobody ever wanted my really luxurious 2-hour meal that it took me to cook. And this is kind of how we set ourselves up when we make our lives too complex. And even as far as this is a great one for activities, right? How often could you really just walk out your door and go for a simple walk? And yet instead we go, oh, we're going to plan this hike. I did this yesterday. So instead of just going for a beautiful walk in our forest, Krista was there with me. We decided to go to this waterfall, right? It was only a mile walk, a mile moderate hike with our 2 kids. And we end up like halfway there, an hour and a half in. We've got to turn around. We can't even get to the waterfall. And, I sat here thinking, going, it could have been so simple. Why did I have to make it so complex? We could have just really enjoyed our time getting right to the creek and playing for that hour and a half, had super happy kids, and not done this crazy complex adventure. Sometimes complex is good, but we have to realize in what way, what are we trying to create, right? So that was just one silly example of a way that we could have just had a really simple afternoon at the creek instead of making it so complex of this wild adventure. And sometimes just simply playing at the creek is enough adventure, right? We think that we have to add on and do more. And I think this is a big part of, there's always this looking of, we can't just have it simple. We can't just go to the lake. We've got to, rent a thing and rent a boat. And it ends up being so complex and so anxiety ridden. By the time your day is done, you haven't even enjoyed yourself, right? So this is the too complex trend. It's got to end. It's got to end because we're making so much overwhelm, anxiety, and frustration for our lives by doing these things. Crafts. This is another kind of homeschooling thing. Or even if you love doing crafts after your kids get home from preschool, or you like doing workbooks, or you like to do things, right? So this can be such a pull in. We can get so sucked into creating these elaborate crafts and activities for our kids. And in the homeschool world, Waldorf has beautiful crafts and activities. And yet, it's so funny. I see so many moms at the very beginning really getting sucked into like creating these really complex watercolors. And really in Waldorf, it's like they're going to start with the color red and they're going to paint with red for a week. And you're like, No, it has to be more complex than that. I'm going to throw in some other fun things that they can do. But really, when we pull away all the complexities and we really get down to the basics, we can create so much magic for ourselves and for our kids. So that is the too complex aspect. So if you have things coming up for you, please put them in the chat. If you're like, oh man, I've totally done that. That makes so much sense. Or, maybe that's not quite for me, but I understand what you're saying. I would love your feedback on this. If you've ever done something and made it so complex and so elaborate that it ends up being not fun anymore or more frustrating than it ever was supposed to be, please type in yes, or I've been there. Let me know if this is resonating with you, if this idea of too complex is something that is making sense. So been there. Thank you, Lonice. Yeah. All right. I used to make homeschooling. Yes, right? It's so easy to make homeschooling so complex. And then we end up going, this isn't even fun. Why am I doing this, right? I love that. Yes. So complex is just too much. And this last common trend that I have really become so aware of, and I know a lot of the women in the Facebook group through the 30-day Discover Your Rhythm challenge of tracking, realized how incredibly distracted they were. And so with being too distracted, I like to say that there are multiple forms of distraction, right? It's not just one form in our culture, and that's a trend. There are so many ways to be distracted in this world. And the first one and the biggest one is the shiny object syndrome, right? We see something that we think could help us, and we go, oh my gosh, I'm going to do that. And then we see something else and we go, I'm going to do that. And I'm going to do this. And I'm going to do this. And we end up doing so many things, or buying into or trying out so many different things, and yet never actually completing one fully and getting the full benefits of it, because we were so distracted by something else that we thought might work over here and something else that might work over here. And so we want to really commit to things that are going to transform us and really go, you know what, I'm going to invest in myself, and I'm going to really give myself the gift of this, whatever it is. And I'm not going to get distracted by thinking that because this isn't working immediately, I've got to switch to something else, right? We do that so often. Or the second we get something new, we go, oh, I want this. I want a new phone, whatever. It's something. I need a new phone. A new phone will really help me. It'll help me get this done and this done. And then all of a sudden we get the new phone and we realize that it's really not helping us. And we look to something else to get, right? We're like, well, maybe we need this. I know a lot of women who do their own home businesses. Shiny object syndrome is out of control with coaches and mentors and this and that. And it's like, well, maybe I need my Akashic records. Maybe I need this. Maybe I need a game plan or a business plan, or, you know what I mean? We can get so caught up in this shiny object syndrome, which all of those things are super useful and helpful, but they're not as helpful and useful. Hey, Mandy, thanks for joining in. They're not as helpful if we don't use them fully, right? If this 30-day rhythm will give you a huge amount of insight, and this was a free resource. But if by day 5 you were like, oh, I don't see anything, I'm going to go try this person's challenge, right? How often do we do that and just get super distracted by what we're doing? And without the follow through, we don't actually get the full transformation. So the shiny object syndrome leads directly into social media, right? And social media is a huge part of that shiny object syndrome. How many people do you have squawking at you and posting things and I'm doing this, my life is awesome, I'm doing this over here, I'm selling this. And we just get like sucked into the distraction, really looking. This is the key. This is one of the secrets that we'll get to. We're actually really looking for connection, right? We're looking for something deeper to connect with, and yet we're getting lost in the chaos and the overwhelm of social media and walking away with still no more connection, usually actually feeling more lost, more lonely, more depleted than when we even first began and woke up to it, right? So too distracted. There's this lack of connection, which is the next one. This lack of connection has us just searching for so many different things. We just want to connect. We want to truly connect. And the only real way, which is the secret, is to connect within, right? When we're distracted by everything outside of us, we don't actually ever create the connection to heal. So another one that's big with distraction is trying to keep up with the Joneses. This isn't as big, I find, with moms, but it can be. Like, keeping up with the Joneses is so sneaky. I find that a lot of times we get distracted by what we're doing because we see another mom like, oh, she's going to go do, she has her kids in karate and ballet. I don't have my kids in karate and ballet. Maybe I'm not doing enough. Maybe I should have them in it. Oh man. And then we kind of get mixed up in that, like going into too busy mode, right? We kind of keep up with the Joneses sometimes and then actually makes ourselves too busy to even be connected. Keeping up with the Joneses, another one could be with like when you go to a birthday party and you're trying to keep up with the gifts, or there's just so much that we can unintentionally make ourselves feel exhausted and depleted and lack inspiration. And so we're left really feeling like, what's the point? I don't even care. I have no motivation. And as a mom, when we get to that point where we go, oh, I just give up. Who are we really giving up on? It's not the Joneses. We're giving up on our kids. We're giving up on ourselves. We're giving up on our magical lives. And that has to stop, right? So are you ready? Are you ready to hear the secret? You've kind of heard a little bit of like what the secret might be. And I'm sure you have an idea of what the secret might be. But if you don't, let's discover it together. Rhythm. Beautiful, magnificent rhythm. And rhythm in itself, if you go to any Waldorf sites, if you go to any homeschooling sites and look up scheduling and rhythm, my gosh, you can make it so busy, so complex, and become so distracted through creating your rhythm. Trust me, I've done all three with my rhythm. No more. No more. We do not need to do that with our rhythm anymore. So when we're doing our rhythm, we want to only do what is vital. And what is vital is really so simple, right? So with our daily rhythm, we have 5 components to our daily rhythm. I wrote a blog that I've posted. If you go to my blog, you can look up daily rhythm and it'll pop up in there. But the 5 pillars of daily rhythm: sleep, easy, but you have to time management, right? You got to time manage it. Otherwise it gets too busy. So you've got to time manage when you're sleeping. And then the second one is eating. This can be another time management, or making things not so complex, right? Really creating a simple way of getting food and nourishment in so that you can continue on with the rest of your day. That's really the focus of the day. Playing. Playing has to happen every day. How'd you play today? I'm playing. This is how I play. I get to play, host a workshop. This brings me so much joy and pleasure and play. How do you play? What does play look like for you? And define that. And if you don't get to do it every day, figure out a way to do it. You know, I didn't have coaching calls every day, which really I love doing coaching calls and gatherings and sessions. Those are how I play. I love doing those. And I wasn't getting those every day. And so I figured out to do Facebook Live. And that way I could be in play every day and really get my sense of nourishment and fulfillment in a way that felt really good for me out into the world and not relying on anybody else. So often when we're creating a rhythm, we go, oh, but my kids aren't going to go along with it, or my husband is so persnickety and he doesn't do the rhythm with me, or we create these excuses and we try to figure out how to do it, but we say, I have no support. Trust me. If I can do it, you can do it. There is a way to create a simple daily rhythm. So we've got sleep, eating, play, nature time. Nature time has to be in your daily rhythm. There's like bluebirds like right over me. Nature, get out into nature. Our bodies must have nature. And I understand that your daily rhythm in nature is going to look vastly different in the summer than it is in the dead of winter, right? You might only get out for maybe 10, 15 minutes of like having a cold walk or run around the block, right? Or going and touching a tree and then running back inside. Nature time is going to look vastly different. And that brings us into the seasonal, right? So the seasonal rhythm is going to be different. Our daily rhythm is going to look different throughout the seasons as well. These all go hand in hand so intricately, so simply, and so beautifully in a way that nourishes us. So we've got sleep, eating, play, and nature time. And the last, and probably the most vital, is being. When we allow ourselves to be present. And this can happen throughout the whole day. I'm not there yet, but there are people that are there that are just completely present, completely in the moment. And I like to set aside time for being time. I wake up and I do my yoga right when I wake up, and then it's like I just kind of sit and be with my kids, and often they'll want to start making some crafts, and it's just like I just want to be present. And I can be present because I just came out of that dreamy world, right? So allowing ourselves to really have this space to just be. What does being feel like to you? Is it really uncomfortable? Maybe you've got to deal with some monsters going on before you can be fully present. And so that's the daily rhythm. Our monthly rhythm is what we just really kind of realized, right? Within the monthly rhythm is our meal plan. We'll have the same meal plan for 3 months for a seasonal. And it'll be the same Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So each week, your monthly rhythm is broken down into weekly rhythms. But I don't want us to see that everything has to be completed the same each week, right? Because we realize that our energy level is different throughout the month. Our motivation is different. What we desire is actually a little bit different. So while we might clean on Mondays, maybe the Monday of the full moon or the Monday of your menses, you just need to sit and read a book all day. Or just sit with your kids and veg out and not clean the house and not push yourself to that, to that. And maybe the next Monday when you're feeling better, or the following Monday when you're ovulating and you feel awesome, you do a deep clean of the whole house, right? So allowing yourself this monthly flow and seeing, I've got more energy or less energy. I have more time for myself or less time for myself, and really allowing ourselves to create a monthly rhythm that takes so much of the pressure off of us to be the same way every day, to knock it hard and to go at it all the time and be, do, right? We don't want to do that anymore. We want to really allow ourselves the space to create a monthly rhythm so that we can flow through it. And the seasonal rhythm is really amazing. Seasonal rhythm kind of has its hand in the daily and the monthly, and we acknowledge each of the 8 seasonal shifts. Every 6 weeks, there is a seasonal shift that happens, and then every 3 months, there is a new season. So, the seasonal rhythm, I love to keep the same meal plan for 3-month chunks. So I'm in my summer meal plan right now. And yes, it looks a lot like the other meal plans. But in the summer, we don't have as much soup, right? I don't like to eat hot soup in the summer. So that is a big part of our fall and winter meal plan. We'll have soup 5 or 6 nights, 5 or 6 days, different types of soups or hot meals or shepherd's pie. We work like I have the oven on every night. I do not want to have the oven on every day in the summer. So my meals look different for the 3 months. And in spring, we start having more fruits, right? We start having more greens. So there's this evolving beauty to creating our rhythm seasonally. Because like I was saying with the daily rhythm, our nature time is not going to look the same throughout every season. My goodness, I would love to spend 8 hours a day outside in winter, but up here on the mountain, I can't do it. So, there's some days I can't even be outside for like more than 20 minutes because I'm so cold. So allowing ourselves this beauty of flow, of stepping into a simple, beautiful flow. I hope this is making sense. I know I've said a lot of this before, but I hope in the context of the 3 really common trends, I hope this is kind of bringing to light some new ways of thinking about rhythm, and so that we're not making them too busy, too complex, or being too distracted even creating it. So the next part is healing or inner work. So what does rhythm and inner work or healing have to do with each other? I find that you cannot actually have a good rhythm or even create a rhythm without doing the inner work or the inner healing that is necessary. So self-care absolutely has to be part of your rhythm. If you are not doing self-care right now, which is why when you join the Magical Mothering Facebook group, I ask, what is your favorite form of self-care? You will not believe, I would say almost 50%, maybe more, of the women who answer this question say, it's not there. I used to, or I've done it before, but it's not there. And when we don't have self-care as a part of our inner work, as part of our rhythm, our rhythm will not be sustainable, and we will burn out. We will create more chaos. We will feel overwhelmed. We will have no inspiration because we're not filling up ourselves. We're not giving into ourselves enough to overflow into even being mindful enough to create a rhythm and want to stick with it because we're inspired and passionate and excited. Because we have no self-care. Hand in hand, so many of these things intertwine and go hand in hand together. And when you just have one piece of them, it doesn't quite fit the whole puzzle. There's a whole beautiful big picture with this, that when we create the whole beautiful picture, it lifts us up and it literally creates a foundation for us to build our magical lives upon. Yeah? Yes, this is making sense. So, all right. So the next aspect of inner work is our belief systems. So often we believe that mothering has to be hard, or we believe that raising kids is tiring, or we believe that we just have no time for ourselves and we can't make our own dreams happen, that we have to give up everything when we become a mom. I'm saying all these because these were all the things that I used to believe. I literally threw my self-care out the window when I became a mom. I poured myself into my kids, and I didn't do anything that wasn't for them. I only studied things for their homeschooling. I only studied things that were like directly related to them. And I got myself to this point by doing that. But I ruined my teeth. I ruined I just didn't take care of myself. And when we don't take care of ourselves, we have nothing to overflow. And so you better believe I was so frustrated. I was so angry. I was so burnt out. I just wanted to do something bigger, and I had no way of doing it. And we thought we were doing the best and being so selfless. Oh, Lonice, that is so true. That is so true. We often think the second we become a mother, we must become the martyr, right? We must become the selfless victim. Oh, that works so hard, tirelessly, all day with no support and no help. Ugh, no. Ugh. We do not want to be that person anymore, because that selfless martyr is not inspired. She is not going to change the world. She is not going to create a magical life that is literally going to inspire and motivate everyone around her, right? I used to be under the idea that it was actually empowering. What a lie. Oh my gosh, Lonice. Yes, yes, yes. Our belief systems are so sneaky and so mischievous and so conniving. And these three common trends are all belief systems, right? You have to be busy if you're a mom, or you're not doing a good job of raising your kids. Ah, what a lie, right? Or you have to, create these meals, and you have to look a certain way, and you have to be a certain way. And there's so many beliefs that limit us into these little tiny boxes, that we don't actually live a life that is inspiring or magical or amazing. And that has got to end. But so often, until we actually hear a new thought, which is why I love doing the Facebook Live, until we actually do a new thought and have a new thought, we cannot actually know that we are thinking something that is limiting, which is why it's so important to have people in your life that you can talk with. I really believe one-on-one. And if at best in a group setting, or be in a Facebook group, that you can really share your ideas and have people say, that is a limiting belief. Let's help you shift that and change that, so you're not gonna pass it on to your kids, right? We do not want to be passing on these belief systems to our children. Money is hard. You have to work doing something that you don't want to do. How often do dads go to jobs that they absolutely hate, and kids grow up thinking, oh, when I grow up, I just have to do a job that I hate because money's important. Ew, no, right? We do not want to pass these on. We don't want to pass these on to our kids. So another beautiful, which I love, is kind of like a physical representation of inner work, is our rituals. My bath night ritual is very much a physical representation, that when I see a picture of my bath, and when I start doing that ritual of lighting the candles, setting out the crystals, filling up the water, feeling the steam, putting the salt blends in there, and filling up my dried herbs. I burn my sage. It's a very complex ritual now, but I've added one little piece at a time. At first, I just had candles, right? And then I added on after I did that for weeks and weeks, every week. And then I was like, oh, let's add some crystals. And then once that became really just habit, then I said, oh, I'm going to set an intention with some sage, and I'm going to smudge this whole bath night. And each of the things that I've incorporated into my bath night have been really easy and effortless aspects of creating this beautiful ritual now, that when I step into the bath, bam, healing happens, because I've created this space so many times that my physical body literally starts preparing for the healing that is going to happen before it has even happened. It's like my body's already going, okay, get ready. We're going to be healing. We're going to be moving. We're going to be doing all sorts of things. Get ready, get ready. And it used to take so long. I'd sit there and I'd have to do meditation and clear my mind. And sometimes I would sit in the bath for an hour and nothing would happen. But now that I've created this beautiful ritual, it's happening before I even step into the water. And this is what rituals can really do for our lives. This is why I love bedtime rituals. When we start a ritual, it almost starts the process for us, and it's effortless. When we put jammies on and we brush our teeth and we know that we're going to have a story, and the story leads into a meditation, and by the time the meditation's done, the kids are asleep. And this is what an unfolding ritual can really do for us. It creates it so that there's no arguments, there's no distractions, there's no, but I want to do this, but this is the ritual. You're already in the flow. Once you get pulled into that ritual, you just surrender. And it's so beautiful because it just pulls us into being. And that is the power of a ritual. So does anybody have any questions so far? Does anybody have any personal aspects that they're going, okay, I get it, but for my situation specifically, how do I do this? I would love to answer any questions like that, so start writing those in the chat or in the thread if you're on the Facebook Live. If you're going, this sounds great, but I'm overwhelmed in this way, or I've got things going on in this aspect of my life. If you want me to answer and go through a little bit of coaching or healing through that, I would love to do that for you. So that's that. So when we go into the Discover Your Rhythm, which there is a 3-month, we will be doing 3 months of Discover Your Rhythm, your personal rhythm, in a group setting that is going to be very intimate and very exciting. And we're going to go into rhythm, and we're actually going to do it through inner healing. We're going to be learning, and we're going to be connecting, and you will create your magical life that you desire within this 3 months. And if anything, you will create a foundation for the magical life, right? Because remember, the physical can take some time to catch up with our thoughts and beliefs and new ways of thinking that we're implementing. But what's going to happen almost immediately is we're going to start seeing the being. We're going to start seeing the peace. We're going to start seeing the possibilities. And when we start seeing those possibilities, all of a sudden life really opens up and starts blooming for us. So what does your magical life look like? Is there any desire? Are you starting to see, wow, I see how lost in the distraction I've been, or I see how other people's emotions have been really affecting me throughout the past month doing this? How is it that you can really create a magical life for you? And I would like to invite you, all of you, I would like to invite each and every one of you to join in the Discover Your Rhythm 3-month program. This is something that I am so excited about and I'm so passionate about because I see what it can truly give you. I see what it can truly create in your life. And I know from firsthand that the rhythm that I have created and the rhythm that I have now understood and implemented in my own life has gotten me to where I am today. And it literally creates inspiration. I am creative. I feel magical. I feel like I can do so much more than I ever thought possible when I was being too busy, too complex, and way too distracted to even want to live a magical life. So if you're interested in discovering your own personal rhythm, of course you can find out all of these things. You can figure out how to make your own rhythm on your own. I did. It took me years. What is going on? There's some weird things happening on my computer. It took me 3 years it took me 5 years. It took me 5 years to discover my rhythm. 5 years. That was years of frustration and not healing and going through the motions and creating this life that I really thought I wanted, and yet I had no inspiration to actually make it happen. So, if you are interested in joining that Discover Your Rhythm 3-month journey, we will be starting the second week of August. So you have some time. There's going to be about 2 weeks to sign up, and then we'll get started the second week of August, and we will go deep and we will literally create. You will create your daily rhythm. You will create your monthly rhythm. You will get a meal plan created. We will do this all together. It will not be you struggling through trying to figure it out. We will have our own little private Facebook group where we will dive in. We will dive in. And if you're going, I don't know how to make a meal plan, we will sit together and we will support each other. And I am going to be there really helping you create this life that you desire, that I would love. Oh, that's so funny. That was you, Krista, drawing on my thing. That's funny. So as we create this rhythm together, you're going to find your rhythm. Because what the problem was that I found the most often when I would read blogs about rhythm, when I took rhythm courses, I invested a lot of time and money and energy into my rhythm. And when I took these rhythm courses, they were very general. They were very like, here's what a rhythm is like. And again, I would get so lost in planning way too many activities, making it way too complex, and then getting completely distracted by my real life, trying to create a rhythm that didn't seem possible. So the reason this program is 3 months long is because every 2 weeks, we are going to create a new ritual. We are going to create a new ritual for our 5 pillars. We are going to create a ritual the first day that we get in there, and we're going to do that for 2 weeks until it feels effortless. And then we're going to add another one, and then we're going to add another one. And by the time that we're done with the 3 months, we are going to have our 5 pillars completely mapped out in a way that feels so amazing and so good that we literally are going to have a daily rhythm complete, set up specifically for you for this. Thank you, Krista. Yes, we will have a complete daily rhythm with all 5 pillars complete by the end of the 3 months. We will have a monthly rhythm with a weekly rhythm inside of it, meal plan, activity guide, so that there is no more guesswork. By the end of this 3 months' time, you are going to have so much time. Literally, you're going to have more time to just be, that you're going to go, okay. And do you know what happens after that? Then you find your soul's purpose, your soul's calling, and your soul just literally wakes up because you're so inspired. You have all this creativity, you have all this inspiration, and you have time. You have time to create. So let me put the link in here real fast. That way, if you guys would like to go to it and sign up now, you can. And there is one more thing. If you sign up for one-on-one mentoring, which I will put that link in here too. If you sign up for one-on-one mentoring, you automatically get into the Discover Your Rhythm program with your one-on-one mentoring. Even if you only sign up for once a month mentoring, I just put the same link. Sorry, I'm talking and thinking not at the same time. And even if you only get once a month mentoring, you will automatically get included into the Discover Your Rhythm program. So I know that there was some of you that was going to sign up for the monthly mentorship. So there's monthly, bi-weekly, every other week mentoring, or 3 times a month mentoring. If you choose any one of those one-on-one mentoring, you're automatically going to get included into the Discover Your Rhythm program. So you get super concentrated, uniquely you, one-on-one mentoring, plus the Discover Your Rhythm group program, which we're going to go through. So you'll have some structure and some really amazing diving deep time just for you specifically, which we will be diving deep into the Discover Your Rhythm program too. And it's $147 for 3 months. I can tell you it is not going to be that price the next time we do this. So if you are at all interested, hop on this because this is the time to do it. Yes, $147 for 3 months for this group program. So if you want one-on-one mentoring with that, it's an incredible deal. $97 a month is what mentoring starts at for one time a month. and you get the full Discover Your Rhythm. I am telling you, ladies, I don't want to hear any excuses about not doing this. So if you want to do this, we will make it work. There's a payment plan. There is, I really, really, really do not want to hear anybody say, I can't afford it or I can't make this work. I know that it is possible for everybody to make this work. So Krista, thank you. Krista's already signed up. So she is in. She's signed up for the program. She is in. So if this is something that you are even possibly thinking about, I want this to be something that you will jump on. The next time it is offered, it will most likely be something like $497 for the 3 months. But I just wanted anybody who has been with me from the beginning, which I know that all of you guys have. You guys have been with me for so long, and I'm so honored. And I don't want money to get in the way of you living your magical life anymore. I'm so done with that. I lived that way. I know, right? We've lived that way where we've gone, oh, I just can't afford it, or I didn't want that to be an excuse. I didn't want anybody holding themselves back. And more than that, I know what it's like when you guys are trying to create something new, like a rhythm, and just trying to do the physical aspects of a rhythm. We've got to go deeper. You know me. I like to go deeper. The healing has to be there. The inner work has to be there. They have to go hand in hand, or you have this rhythm and you have all this frustration and anger and built up and no healing, and your inner child is ruling your rhythm, and your rhythm is trying to rule your inner child, and they're fighting, and you don't have a rhythm, and you give up. So I don't want that to happen. We got to do this together, right? We got to have it so aligned together. So does anybody have any questions? Is there any questions for anybody? Does anybody have anything that they want to share, or that is going, yeah, but how would this work for me? If there's any questions like that, I would love, love, love to answer those. And if you have any other moms, your sisters, any other moms that you know of, friends that you know of, that would be interested in this, that might not have known that this was possible, or if you're in any sort of like Waldorf groups or anything like that, and you want to share this, I would love for you to share that with them. So if this is something that you think that might help other moms, please share it. So if there's no questions, nobody has any questions, nobody has any insights. So, okay. When you send money with love, it will come back to you. Just don't hold on to the fear. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. And that's true when you invest in anything, right? When you do it of going, I'm investing in self-care. This could be qualified as self-care. The Discover Your Rhythm 3-month program can be your self-care, right? When you invest in yourself and you really put money into yourself and into your family. I mean, when you're creating this rhythm is not just for you. This rhythm is going to create a happy home. This rhythm is going to create peace. Yes. And what greater investment into yourself, right? So often we think we're investing in ourselves. I mean, even eating healthy and doing things like that, sometimes we can spend so much money on it and we don't actually get a very good return on our investment, right? So the return on investment for this program is literally going to shift and change. And that is one thing. You are going to save more money. You're going to make more than $147 from this program just in your meal plan, just in your savings from having a rhythm, from having a simpler activity guide. All that money that you invest in all the stuff, you're going to actually save so much more money by actually creating this Discovering Your Rhythm. So if there's anybody in the Facebook Live that has any questions, please post them. Emily has done one-on-one mentoring with me before. This program is something I've been studying with you and has helped so many changes, but it is such a big help to go over the same principles. So yes, so I'll be doing the 3 months again. Awesome. And again, Emily is such a perfect example of this because she's done a 4-month one-on-one mentorship with me. And yet as we grow, Emily, and I know that you and I have talked about this, I've even done this, as we grow and as we create changes and transformations, all of a sudden there's new things that were not in play before we started mentoring, right? All of a sudden it's like we change and we grow and we're like, whoa, new beliefs, new thoughts, new magical life. I got to revamp this. And then seasons change too, right? We did this like in the fall with Emily. And so how different to be in a different place in the summer. So really acknowledging that things change, and as we change and grow, we can continue to learn and grow. And even if it's the same, which Emily and I did a one-on-one mentoring, so it'll be really amazing to have and go through this in a group setting where there's so much support and everybody's doing their meal plan to bounce ideas off. So if we can get a nice group of maybe 10 ladies, if we can get a really solid, beautiful group of women doing this Discover Your Rhythm together, the ideas and the flow and being and will all create so much magic. So I'm so excited that you guys were here live with me. I thank you. It makes it so much easier to share in this way where I can see you. Yay! I love seeing you. So yes, Emily says, life-changing. I feel connected to my authentic self. The self-care and going deep and healing happens easier now. And I'll be doing one-on-one mentorship again because I need it. Thank you. Yes, you're very welcome, Emily. Thank you. So we just had somebody join in at the last minute. Liz 720, welcome. So there will be a replay of this. I will get the replay to you. In the chat box are the links, but I will make sure to send you guys, if you haven't registered and you're in the Zoom call because you got the link from the event, make sure to register too. That way you can get the freebies, you'll get the ultimate monthly rhythm planner. And that way we can kind of connect through email and I can get you all that awesome stuff. So thank you for the replay. I totally forgot and just saw the email. Not a problem. I'm going to get you a replay. That is a pet peeve of mine, by the way. When moms make workshops or webinars for other moms and don't give a replay. It's like, what? That's craziness. I understand you can't get here live all the time. I understand you might have to watch this at midnight tonight. I get that. So everything that I do, I always make sure there's a replay. And so I don't play those games of like, there might not be a replay. No, there's going to be a replay. I will get that to you. And thanks for playing with me today. Thanks for just being here. And I'm really excited. And I hope that as we're kind of launching into this Discover Your Rhythm 3-month journey together, that we will absolutely be mindful to avoid the 3 trends at absolutely all cost, right? No more making life too complex, no more making life too busy, and no more being too distracted. And so, oh, we appreciate you. Oh, you're so welcome, Lonice. You're so welcome. This is what I get to do. Can you believe that? And we're going to find what you get to do. We're going to find like your magical inspiration that you want to play. Lonice, you've already found. Lonice makes amazing jewelry. Her and I have really been, she's in the sisterhood, and from the sisterhood, she's done so much work. And I know it's not all that, but she's created her magical business from creating beautiful jewelry from the work that she's done. And Gwyneth, I'm going to call you out. Gwyneth writes beautiful poetry, and I love her poetry. She does her deep inner healing work through her poetry and through her words. And it is I get so much healing from her own expression of beauty and what she writes. So Emily just started a blog. So everybody, as this is a huge part of it, I honestly would not be here without the sisterhood. Lonice, thank you. Yeah. It's so true. The healing is what really opens us up to creating and finding our inspiration. And Krista, she's on her way to her soul's calling. She's creating her website, and she's a medium, and she's really helping people connect with their loved ones, and yet so much more. She's an artist, and she's creating this super magical business that nobody ever does with mediumship. So I faced so many fears and have been able to grow so much in the past few months. Yeah, I think we're really all doing this together, right? Finding ourselves and really stepping up and going, this was really scary, and this is something I would never thought that I would ever do in a million years. I told Krista, I go, I'm going to show you the first webinar I ever did so you can laugh and know that it takes time to get comfortable talking to a video about your life. So know that wherever you are in your soul's calling or in your soul's journey, that it is perfect. And this next step of discovering your rhythm or joining in and doing one-on-one mentoring with me and then automatically getting into the Discover Your Rhythm program, know that this is a journey that we're doing together. This is not me saying, I know all the answers and I'm going to lead you through this. No, this is me learning some things, awesome things along the way that took me years to implement, that I'm going, can I please show you how to do it a lot faster? Because this is silly. You don't need to be doing it the hard. Don't do it the way that I did it. Don't struggle through freeing up your time and creating your rhythm, especially if you're doing it now. You're going to have this for the rest of your life. And you're not going to feel like you've given up your whole life to become a mother. And then when your kids are out of the house, you go, what now? Now what? I know so many women that do that are going to put their entire lives on hold. And they say, when my kids are out of the house, when they graduate high school, I will then work on myself. What if they don't leave? What if they don't leave after high school? What if they stay all college? What if they don't get married until they're 40? What then? Are you literally going to put your life on hold for the rest of your life? Give up years because you think that you're doing your children a service? What if your children sacrifice just like you their entire lives and say, I'm going to give up, I'm going to hold off on my dreams because I have to do X, Y, and Z first, because that's what I saw my mom do, or that's what I saw my dad do, right? How often do we feel guilty when we actually live our lives, our magical lives, because our parents didn't get to? Let's not give our kids that gift. No more. We don't want to give them those limiting beliefs. We don't want to, your kids have a great gift. No, we don't want to pass that on. So whether you want to do it on your own and discover your own rhythm through all of these amazing tools, do it however it is. If you want to take my hand, I'm reaching my hand out to you. Grab it. It's only $147. So the investment is there. Yes, there is an investment to it, but I truly believe that the investment is that you're going to get in return is so much greater than the $147. So if this is something that you're excited about, it's in the chat. I will make sure to put the link up in the Facebook group and in the email, and that way everybody knows what's going on and how they can get access to this amazing stuff. And thank you for being here. I'm going to let you all go now. I've held you on for over an hour, so I appreciate you being here. And I feel so incredibly blessed to have you in this tribe, to have you in my life, to be a part of your journey as much as you're a part of my journey. So thank you for being here, and I will see you all in 2 weeks. I'm so excited. So I will not be anywhere online, hopefully, for 2 weeks, but you can sign up for the Discover Your Rhythm through that whole time. The link is going to be active. If you do have questions and you send me an email, my email actually has a automatic reply that it's doing with my phone number. If you need to get a hold of me, text me, please. Okay? Don't feel like, oh, I've got a question and she's gone. Girl, we're closer than that. Come on. We're good. Like, you text me, you connect with me if you need to while I'm on my La La Land for 2 weeks. You know what I mean? I might not talk business, but you connect with me. We're good. All right. So I will see you all soon. Mwah. Hope you all have a wonderful, magical 2 weeks as well. And I look forward to seeing you in the Discover Your Rhythm 3-month journey. Peace and blessings.